This is a short sentence where every bit is very important. Agents need to be autonomous, and they need to be able to make their own decisions and make their own actions based off an outcome that they're trying to achieve. That's what makes software truly agentic. Petar, do you want to add anything to that?
That's perfect.
Okay, great. I passed the test. So this is the timeline of the development of AI technology, and we have Jensen Huang, who's been instrumental to that rise and evolution of that technology over the past couple of years, showing this off. And many of you will understand or be kind of familiar and comfortable with that generative AI stage, where we're using AI, we're going to AI, we're asking it to do something, and we're getting some output, and maybe we're integrating that with our workflows. The next step is this agentic approach. And when you're working with agents, it's really a new way of thinking about how you do work, because it's not just you kind of performing the action and having this help off to the side. It's you actually delegating that piece of work to a piece of software that's going to complete that work, and you become the strategist who's overseeing the process. So it's really an exciting evolution. These are the core principles of agentic AI and how agents work. First of all, there's always kind of three pillars to what makes an agent. An agent has to have a brain, which can make the decisions. It has to have context. It has to have knowledge or information that it's using as background for making the right decision. And it has to have skills. And skills allow the agent to actually take action, to go out into the world and get something done, right? Because it doesn't do us any good if they're just making a decision. They have to be able to actually do something as well. Yeah.
Can you hear me? No? I can speak loud. Can you hear me? That's. I'll speak loud. So one thing that I would like to add. So you probably already know the chatbot implementation. Probably most of you already use it and have seen it. Generally, the thing you saw in the chatbot was similar, right? It has the brain, which is the large language model that we use. It has the skills that you enable, which is basically what tools will go into Element to read the information. And it has the context, which is basically where the student is right now, its profile and who they are, if they're authenticated or not. Not sure why there's feedback.
Yeah, I'll move away from you.
But, so if you think now about the proactive or the agentic nature, it's not that different, right? It has the same type three skills, right? Skills, context, and the brain. What makes it extra is the proactive nature. That's something that we started to build. It was actually last year during the ASUG suite. That was in April. Me and Ardis were sitting down in the lobby of the hotel, and we were like, "Hey, all the AI right now is reactive. It's reactive based on, hey, the student comes in, they write something."
My mic?
Might be better.
Yep. Let's do that.
Sorry, team.
You can leave that one. Yeah. Yeah.
Just turn it off, please. Test. Okay, this is better. Thank you. So, yeah, we were sitting in a lobby. There was a fireplace. It was really nice. And the idea came, hey, what if it was romantic. And that's what we do. When it's romantic, we talk AI. So it was, what if we turn it around? And it was really confusing back in the day. The technology is really expensive, as you know. Like you pay for basically every run of AI. It costs money. Back in the day, it was really, really expensive. And it was really hard for us to grasp. So, yeah, that's the AI timeline. Yeah. In AI timeline, everything is moved. So it was confusing to me, and it took us 4 or 5 months. I remember arguing with Ardis. We were just sitting down, I don't know, how can we do this? It's just that I can't scale. But over time, the models become cheaper and become much more smarter. Because one of the things, if you are planning to run this proactively in the background for you, you need to trust it, right? At least it needs to be at a similar quality as an intern. So that's why we kind of waited. We could actually have had this even in December and January, but we decided it's not ready yet. So we waited for the moment the technology gets to the level where it's enough that you can actually trust it. So we think that this is it now. So that's the difference. Like the proactive is similar to what you already used when you come to ChatGPT, but imagine if ChatGPT does things even without you asking it sometimes. That's the difference.
Yeah, that's right. Now, when you think of agents, there is actually a really wide variety of different types of agents. Agents aren't just one thing, and agents aren't always that complex. They actually vary a lot in how intricate or involved or heavy they are. So some great thinkers have come up with the TACO framework for understanding the different types of agents. And the TACO stands for taskers, automators, collaborators, and orchestrators. And this is a really great kind of summary of the spectrum of AI agents that are out there. And here we have some examples. So in the tasker category, that's an agent that's there to do one specific little task. So you can think of in Canva, you're able to provide a prompt, and the Canva AI will generate a social post based off that prompt. That's a classic tasker. At the automator level, you have more multi-step thinking and workflows, chaining tasks, even talking across different systems. So a Zapier agent is a great example of that. Writing emails to contacts who are in a database, has to go to the database, figure out who they are, write the email, and send it out to them. At the collaborator level, you have more direct and consistent interaction with humans. So a collaborator, a great example is Intercom Fin, which if you use Element, you've probably interacted with within Element. That's an AI agent that provides customer support. And the collaborators are marked by the fact that they interact with humans just like a staff member would be. They're totally non-deterministic, which means basically they don't follow a script. They are truly listening to your queries and trying to answer your questions. And finally, at the orchestrator level, you have agents that go beyond that to even to coordinate other agents and to solve the hardest, most complex dynamic goals. So if you've tried deep research in ChatGPT, that's a great example. The deep research agent, it thinks through all the things that it might want to look up in order to answer your question. It synthesizes all of that information. It really summarizes and comes up with a really great kind of connected summary of everything that it found that's related to what you asked, and it presents it to you. So these are agents that do the most complex work. Petar, do you want to add anything on that?
No, all good.
No? Okay, great. I'll stop asking you. I'll assume you'll butt in.
I'll chime in.
Okay. So this is Element's agent suite to date. And so as you know, if you're a user of Element, we've been creating AI agents for a long time. And we started with some sort of simple tools, like tools where you can write copy or edit your emails before they go out using the interface with those little buttons to change the tone and so on, our writing tools. We have our app fraud detector that Eric just showed during the product keynote. And that's more of a tasker agent because all it does is one repetitive task. It looks at applications and tries to score them. At the automator level, we have something like our application reader, which we also showed. And at the collaborator level, that's where we have our current, or before today, our Bolt agent suite. Our recruiter, our academic advisor, our career counselor, and so on. They are able to answer questions on your website and Student Hub, through SMS, through email, but they haven't been proactive yet. And that's today's big leap forward, is Bolt agent jobs, or Bolt jobs. This is our agent orchestration platform, and it allows our agents to complete real goals and real work on behalf of your institution. And with that, Element's agent suite now covers that whole gamut of what AI agents can do. We have specialized agents in each of these categories, and with Bolt agent jobs, our Bolt agents are now proactive, and they now act as orchestrators. Now, as we mentioned, Bolt agent jobs is available for all current Bolt AI customers. So if you are a Bolt AI customer, you can see it now. If you're not, please talk to us, because we would love to help you get into the platform. And we're going to go now into a demo. So let me switch over the AV here. Okay.
This is kind of the exciting part about this session, right? You're like, come on, move on, move on.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
knew
Sorry
all of
for
that stuff.
droning on. Okay. So we're here on a typical element landing page. And we can start conversations. We can start conversations with our agents here. So here we have Brenda, who's an admissions advisor. And we can ask our agents questions like this, and I think many of you have this style of agent interaction already implemented within Element. Agents have full access to your school's knowledge, so you kind of pre-upload that knowledge into Element, and then agents are able to answer questions accurately 24/7. And we showed during the keynote the flow for booking appointments. You can also sign up for events, for example, directly through the agents. And we can show voice mode one more time just to show you how it works. Hello. Okay, I don't think I have my computer audio through the AirPlay.
So what Ty is showing now, the advanced, we call this advanced voice mode. This is also released today. You have it available. This is it. You can enable it on the messenger settings. This is basically what I demoed today on phone calls. Well, those same voice models are available in chat. So if somebody wants to talk to them in real time, for example, you're on a go, you can enable this on your phone, walk around and just talk to it. It's actually really similar to ChatGPT as well. They have that same mode, which can be useful for certain students. I expect the phone calling to be more kind of like more used, but this is an option that you can use.
That's right.
If you have
Oh, now we have some audio. Can you hear me?
any questions about Element,
Okay. Sorry, we're having some audio glitches, so we'll have to skip that part, but that's okay. You've been able to see it so far. So that's great. But where jobs comes in is that we can now take those same agents and allow them to do proactive work. So here in the Bolt Agents panel, we have a job set up. Oh, and first, actually, let me show you Brenda, who's the agent who we were just chatting with.
Damn, that's a lot of agents.
That's a lot of agents. So Brenda is an admissions advisor agent, and you can see here, this is where you as a user can customize the agent's skills and knowledge. And there's lots of different options, including this new voice option, which is what we were just demonstrating.
The one thing I wanted to highlight about this is, so we've gone through great lengths in terms of not giving you guys just a generic platform, right? So there's a lot of...
hello?
Sorry.
Oh, hey Brenda, hello.
She was listening.
There's a lot of knowledge that we're bringing in. So things like academic advising or admissions or recruiting, all of the personalities and all the things and all the tasks and how you do those particular jobs, those are baked into those what we call archetypes, right? And that's where you see that drop down. So it's very specific to higher education. It's not like a generic where you go in and you put there's like so many different prompts and so many different, so much context underneath that when you pick that, there's actually real data and context that it's personalizing it for that specific job. So I just want to highlight that because that's a big difference between going in and building a generic agent and now coming in and actually picking that from the Dropbox and having that knowledge in that background.
Yeah, that's right. All of our agents are specifically trained for higher ed jobs, and that allows them to be more specialized, faster at answering those particular questions, and so on.
And those types are really important in cases.
Hello. There we go.
Okay.
Hello, hello. So the types are also really important because that tells the system what to expect of that agent, what's the job. Because if you think about it, you'll have students coming in, they might ask questions, for example, on email, and in email you might have 20 different agents that might need to do the 20 different things. So it's really important to have those types because then the system knows where to route the actual, the job.
Yeah, so here we have an example Bolt job that we've set up for Brenda. And I'll go a little slower on the settings here and dig in a little more than I did in the last session. So within any given job, the crux of it is that you choose an agent, as we have up here, and you have a goal. And in this case, within this job, Brenda's job is inform or notify. And that means that Brenda's going to try to conduct an initial outreach, get in touch with the student, and then the goal will be considered complete. You can choose the channels that the agent is allowed to operate on within this job, and you can customize that between different jobs. And you provide instructions. And this is really the heart of Bolt jobs and what makes it an agent orchestration platform, is that you're in charge and you're explaining to the agent the work that you want it to do. So here in our list of people, you can see a bunch of different contacts here. And you can add people to the job either by using what we call a trigger, which automatically enrolls them, or by adding people manually. So here I just clicked Add People, and it's going to pull up this list of people.
So a lot of the things that you're seeing here are just continuations of the same paradigms that we've been using for workflows, for journeys, so you see like how the platform actually powers a lot of these different things. So you don't have to think about new ways. It's like, well, how do I enroll people in this? It's like, well, you already know how to do that. So it's like we've just built the orchestration now. So a lot of these things are very, very natural in terms of the platform and how Element works.
Yeah, so what I just did is I added a contact for myself, and here you can see the agent immediately starts thinking about my contact. So the agent under the hood is looking over my complete contact record and is deciding, in order to complete this particular goal, what the best next step is going to be. And we can see here that it's decided to make a phone call, which I should get momentarily. Oh, there we go. Hello.
May I speak with Tai Fujimura?
Yeah, this is he.
Hi, Tai. This is Brenda, your AI admissions advisor from Element University. I'm calling because we love to have students from New York, and I wanted to share a few things about our campus and programs. Would you be interested in hearing about how Element University can help you reach your educational goals, or join an upcoming info session or advising appointment?
Yeah, that sounds great. Can you tell me more?
Absolutely. Element University is a public institution in Raleigh, North Carolina, with about 10,000 students. We offer a range of programs in AI and computing, business and economics, arts and sciences, and health sciences. We also have strong student support, state-of-the-art facilities, and more than 200 student clubs and events.
That's amazing. Can you send me a link to set up an appointment?
I sent a text message to your phone with the link to schedule an advising appointment. You'll be able to pick the day and time that work best for you. Would you like help with anything else?
No, that's all. Thank you so much. So you could see, as I was speaking to the agent, within Element, as a staff member, you can go in and you can see that conversation taking place in real time, that phone call. And that's one of the amazing things about the way that our platform works, is all of this stuff is visible to you, so you can have that entire context as well. So you as a staff member, when you go in, you can see all the interactions that your agent has had with your audience over time.
One thing I would like to maybe explain here is how this works under the hood at this moment. This is a really, really, really good example, and you will be surprised. So what happened here, right? We added a person, and then the system has read all the information about that person, and there was a goal. Hey, we need to provide certain information about the school, and we need to cater that to be personalized to that specific contact. That called out, it's detected based on the interactions, that that's the best way to actually approach this person. called, tried to get some stuff, and actually converted him. He's now actually going to book an appointment. If you think this is actually what a human would do as well, right? You would go in, you would read everything about that person, get to know them, and then call them. I hope you will read everything. And then you would go call them and try to get to that goal. So that's how you should think of bold agents. And that's how we think when we design them. We think of them, hey, can a human do this? How a human would do this? And then try to give all the tools to the AI. Whenever AI fails at its job, it's because it didn't have something. It didn't have enough information, or the information was ambiguous, or it didn't have ways to do it. Like, hey, a student asks, I want you to send me information via email, the summary, and AI cannot do it. And then that's a problem. So you can see in this example, everything worked really, really good, and everything is connected to the system. So
yeah, that's right. So prospecting examples are very easy and easy to understand, but you can use Bolt jobs to do a really wide range of real work using agents. So here we have an example of an agent whose job is to maximize yield. So the agent is going to will have a list of students who have been admitted but haven't completed their application. The agent's job is going to be to reach out to those folks and encourage them to apply. Another thing that's great within these instructions is you can give your agents guidance on how you want them to behave when they're in that interaction. So a lot of the time, especially like you think of student success use cases or applicants, you don't want your agents to be cold and kind of distant or just be professional. You want them to have something of a personal touch. And you heard in that voice that there's a lot of sort of humanity now in the way that the voices work, and I think that really helps as well. So here at the bottom, I can show you how within this job we have a trigger, which is to enroll admitted students. And the way that these triggers work is that they are monitoring within the system for specific events to take place. You can kind of filter those actions and narrow it down to just the cases that you're most interested in. And whenever these events happen within Element, that person will automatically be enrolled in the job. So I'll show you an example here. Again, we can come into the people list, and you can see the list of people. You can see here, here's an action that it took previously for one of Petar's contacts to send an SMS. And within the conversation, it included the link, as I mentioned. It was friendly and warm, as we discussed. And Petar can follow up through a text message to continue that conversation. So unlike a kind of blanket campaign, campaigns are great, they have their purpose, but this is the start of a conversation. It invites the student to connect and learn more, and that can be way more effective than just sending out one big email.
And if you see, this is now a conversation, right? So what happens if you respond, right? Who answers, right? Before we had a chat bot, which was a Bolt bot, and it would answer the questions. How does this continue to follow the goal? So that's, again, a problem that we encountered as we were building this. Like, hey, okay, we can send out emails, but what then? And the whole idea is then the Bolt bot also needs to have all the context of why this conversation started and what's the point and what you should strive for and try kind of to direct the student. So Bolt bot has been extended that if the conversation was started by a proactive assistant, that actually will take care of all that, like all that context will be passed through and we'll use that same instructions. So it's kind of like a modification of the chatbot that you had before.
Now, creating jobs is very easy. I showed the interface very briefly. And I also explained that we have an agent now, which is our Bolt Jobs agent, and that's able to make jobs just with you describing them. So you don't even have to know or go through these settings. It's going to create that job according to best practices. So let me demonstrate that over here. So that agent lives over in the sidebar. And the first thing you can do actually is we have an onboarding agent that can make agents. So I'll actually use this to make a new agent.
What this will do now is the agent will just follow the same things as you would do in the UI, but instead of you clicking through everything, why this is a little bit better? Because you can chat back and forth and basically get a plan. Hey, what would be the best way to do it? Because you might not know. So hey, I don't know. I want to solve this problem. What do you recommend? So the onboarding agent will have all the best practices, and over time, as we get more feedback, we can refine it to be even better.
Yeah, that's right. So it's gonna you're not going to miss anything that you didn't realize that you would have wanted to set, because the agents are pre-trained on all the best practices for how agents should be set up, and they're able to make all of those decisions independently. So let me switch over to our jobs agent.
No more prompt engineering.
Yeah, exactly. Just explain it like you would to a team member. The jobs agent will be able to get it done.
Yeah, we will, underneath, we will refine and basically build the best prompt for the agent, so you don't have to write that. So we're actually doing all that work underneath, and that's why this agent builder is helping us build that work. Obviously, if you feel like it, you have access to it, so you can go ahead and build your own prompt, or you can modify the prompts that are generated, so you have access to everything. But in this case, it's so much easier. You don't have to think about it.
Okay. So here you can see I'm using the job creator agent, and I just described the basics of the job that I want. The agent gives me back a high-level outline. And I said looks good because we're in a demo and I want to keep showing you more stuff. But I could have an ongoing conversation with this agent to say, oh, that's not quite right, or explain how we do it at our institution, or any specific guidance that it might want to have. So we'll pick an academic advisor agent. The example that I used is reaching out to students who are struggling in their grades. It asks us to confirm the segment of students who we want to use. And it gives us a final outline. Oh, sure, sorry. So as I show this outline, you can see on the left-hand side of the screen, the agent has already completed setting up this job. It gives us a little confirmation. It gives us a button to click. And voila, we are here with a new job for Luca, our academic advisor, to support students at risk. And when we look in the approval queue, when we look in the list of people, we already have here a contact. And the segment that I loaded in just includes one contact, just to show you how it works. And here we have a student who's struggling. The agent has made a decision about the message that it wants to send to support that student. It actually followed my instructions, because I said, don't try to get them to book an appointment right away. Check in with them, see how they're feeling, then offer an appointment. So if Petar were to continue this conversation, the agent would be able to kind of progress the conversation just like a real counselor would. And what I want to highlight here is approvals. So you saw there, instead of just taking the action, it shows this status for approval needed. And this is where you have full control over what these agents are doing. So it may sound scary if you have agents making decisions independently. We think over time that will become more and more second nature as you get used to how these agents operate and the types of interactions that they have with your students. But you can always set it so that before the agent takes any action, it's going to check with you first. And it looks like this in the interface. So you have a little card that explains what the agent is proposing to do, the timeline of it, and so on. You can click to see more detail. You can reject the action. You can totally approve the action. Or you can provide feedback. And it's really cool because as soon as you provide feedback, the agent is actually going to take that into account and revise that action. So we can actually, I'm a big fan of emojis. If you ever get an email from me, it'll probably have at least one. So if I wanted to add more emojis into the message, we can just give that instruction back to the agent, and the agent will actually revise that text specifically. So this is really powerful because not only can you have all of those drafts ready for you, but you can control the final output as well.
And one thing that works here, so if you look at this, you're like, oh, well, this won't scale. Like, I can't really monitor hundreds of agents and need to provide feedback for each one. So every time you provide feedback, the system tries to analyze, is this a one-time occurrence or something that's probably like the guideline that you should follow? So when it detects guidelines, it actually extracts them and saves them in memory. So then it's like, hey, next time similar situation occurs, it will just follow that same thing. So you don't need to repeat twice. Which, if you think when you work with human team members, you probably need to repeat twice. So.
Yeah, that's right. And one thing I'm realizing I forgot to flag for you all earlier is that within a job, one of the key things that you define as part of your instructions are actions. And you can see here that within this job, the agent has 3 actions available. And this is kind of like their menu of different things they can do, those skills, as we mentioned for agents in general, that allow them to get their goal completed. And you can provide specific granular instructions for how you want the agent to do each specific action, and it's going to basically, every time it's monitoring a student, it's going to choose one of those actions. So again, just like you would explain to a human colleague, these are the possible steps that we can take. You can explain that to the agent, and the agent will follow your instructions. So these are just some basic examples, and I think there are quite literally infinite possibilities for what you can do with Bolt agent jobs, and we're really excited to see what you all do with it. To get your imagination turning on how you can use agents, we've put together this incredible demo page, thanks to the hard work of Petar setting this up. And on this demo page, you can see across all of your different agent teams some examples of how you could employ Bolt agents in your workflow. So we encourage you to check this out, look at all these examples, try them yourself, and all of the examples that I just showed you with the agents that I had on screen, those are all actually within this demo page as well. So you can see those specific examples, you can try them for yourself right through our website at element451.com/agents. So yeah, we can go back to the deck.
Yeah, so one thing I want to kind of highlight here, if you want to have a mental model of how we built this, right, and how we're thinking about it, we went back and forth, and every single time that we hit kind of a roadblock, things were just so much simpler if we were to mirror how we as humans do work. So we thought about reasoning, right? We thought about that human in the loop, how to do guardrails, how to think about that engine, the reasoning engine that we put underneath, and then the tools that we're providing to these different agents. So if you want a mental model of this, at the very, very simplistic level, think about it as a workflow in Element that you do not have to put any of the actions in. All you do is just give it a goal and then say, do this thing. And then it's going to, in the background, write the actions for every single person that you input into that workflow. It's going to reason, and it's going to say, I'm going to determine what action to do next. I'm going to determine when to do that action. I'm going to determine what tools to use, what channels to use. And by the way, I know everything about when I perform that action and the reasoning. I know about all of the other workflows that you have in the system and everything else about that student. So if that's a good mental model for you, that's how I think about it, and that's how we were able to reason about that. There's a lot of engineering that's happening underneath here, and there's a lot of really incredible things that we built, but these are going to get better and better. So that brain or that reasoning, like these models are getting better and better. We were not able to do this a year ago, folks. This was not possible a year ago. It was not possible 6 months ago. It was just too expensive. It would have cost us millions and millions of dollars to run it across thousands of students for you all, just listening in the background and doing all these different actions. The cost of these LLMs and these reasoning models, it's only possible that we're able to do this because that cost is coming down. So one of the things that we're trying to do is provide you and give you access, but we're putting some limits in terms of how many people you can have active on those jobs at the same time. You can enroll as many people, but how many people the AI is monitoring. And then we're going to increase that slowly over the next couple of months. And we're going to increase it more and more and more as that cost kind of comes down. But it is incredible in terms of how powerful this becomes, and that reasoning engine is now at a point where it essentially kind of completes that whole the whole vision that we had originally. It's like the segment of one, having the next best action, the right message at the right time, to the right person, all those different things. And this is also an orchestration layer that it's not going to be just for sending messages and communication, but it's also, we're adding more and more of those capabilities on those tools, so it can reach out to staff. It can do nudges internally. It can build reports that are going to be sent out to the president, or reason about when things are happening in the system and what to do next. So this is just the start for us, and the start is the student experience first, so you don't have to do that work. But over the next few months and over the next year, this is going to look very different in terms of all of those use cases that you use Element today, and this is going to be powering a lot of those different use cases here.
Yeah, you can imagine in the future your workflow changing quite a bit, where you're able to kind of log in the morning, you can see what your agents have been up to, you can provide those approvals, and it really puts you in that kind of strategist seat when it comes to a lot of this work that you're completing. And that's not to say that you can't hop in and do it yourself if you want. It's just that you have the option to have an agent do the heavy lifting when you need to comb through a list of thousands of people and send a really nice personalized email. So yeah, I want to turn it over to Petar to talk a little bit about the technical aspect and how our agents work, going back to this original framework.
Just to add up, Ty, on what you said, because you said it's kind of like you work with them as you're the strategist, and that's the best advice I think I can give here. How should you start? I think that's when it unlocked for me as well. Initially, as we were building, and again, just thinking of the scale, like, hey, how can you run this for millions of students? Is dangerous, right? There's just so many things you can see. So imagine like you now have 1,000,000 employees that do things that you cannot see. So basically, challenges of managing agents are the same as challenges of managing people. So my advice here is start slow. Like everybody, like every employee can now become a manager, and it has its own AI team that it manages, and practice through that. If you have today, you need to reach out to 20 students to tell them, hey, you're missing your deposit deadline. Try to use AI to do that. Maybe like it's 1 minute and you're done, and every message is personalized and catered to that student. Then you expand slowly, pick more and more problems, and see what you can solve with them. And as we add more and more functionality, right now most of the things you see are outreach, right? Outreach. But we will add like automation system inside of Element. Hey, create a task, run something, run this, run that. So it will be much more flexible. Yeah, sure. We are almost done. So
let's talk very briefly about this structure.
This is how we built it. So all these problems, how we think of all these problems that we need to solve, because if you think about it, it's a generic platform, and we need to solve different types of goals. So this is the graph that actually implements that. It's a little bit complex, but it's a complex problem, right? When a job starts, you see there's a place where we need to fetch the student information. It's a single box, but this is a big box under the hood, because there's a lot of information that we have in Element. So imagine if you have access to everything, all the conversations, all the other ball jobs, all the notes, everything. You can take that in, think on that, where you see the thinking part, and then use that to decide what to do. Isn't that what a human would do? Same, right? You would try to get as much as you can information, and then based on that, decide what you can do based on the list of actions that you have. Then depending on the action can be that it needs approval, right? And then this is where the human in the loop aspect comes in, where the human needs to oversee. And if the human approves the action, we can do the action. And in most cases, the workflows don't end after a single interaction, right? If I want to talk to the student and be like, hey, I want to get the student to apply, it could be a month's worth of work. So you see, it actually goes to sleep, and then, which basically means, hey, it monitors and waits for, hey, either student reaction, or it already planned, hey, in like 5 days, I should probably check in again if the student hasn't responded. So this will kind of like run in loop, to try to get the student to complete that goal. Or if it detects, it also has one more check. It says, should I give up? Like after a certain couple of tries, it will see, hey, it makes no sense. I will just cause more harm than good, and it will just give up and then put itself in a failed state.
If it's trying to promote an application and the student says they don't want to apply, then it shouldn't continue, right? So we're building all of that logic into this system. And this is just a quick representation of how the student journey can look with a agent-powered institution. You have staff who are reaching out to that person on a regular basis, but you also have agents who are completing various jobs, whether the person is just a prospect getting to know your school, or they're already at the application stage, or they become a student. So this is what we see as the future of higher ed, is humans and agents working together, and that's the power of Bolt jobs. So lastly, we want to queue up Ardis to talk about this vision, because this is something we've thought about for many years. And maybe Ardis, you can say a few words about kind of where this started and what it's.
Yeah. Well, in the essence of time, I think we talked a little bit about that during the keynote as well. But this has been really the culmination of all that work. I remember. So if you know JC Bonilla, like him and I, this work had started when I remember in Dumbo we and he'll tell you the story. We were. We would go to this like afternoon coffees, and there's this really amazing chocolate place called Jacques Torres. I don't know if you've heard of Jacques Torres, but they have a shop in Dumbo, and we go back and forth. And this is 2018, 2016, 17, like during that area. I don't even remember, but it's a long time ago, 9 years, 10 years ago, and our idea then was like, hey, wouldn't it be amazing if we can actually build this system where you anticipate the next thing to do? And we were calling it Next, right? So we had this notion in our head, Next. And it's like, wouldn't it be great if we can actually do that? And at the time, there was no LLMs or any of that. It was just like, can we just do predictive modeling, or can we just do this old ML work to do that? So it started in there, and then ever since we've been working on this problem, right? We've been working with workflows, we've been working with everything, and we really called it a segment of one because it makes a lot of sense, right? Every individual, everything that you need to do next. So we didn't call it Next, but maybe we should have called it Bolt Next in terms of but because this is a little bit more of an orchestration platform. But that's been the vision, right? And I'm really, really proud of what the team has built here. Very technical problems that we've had to solve over the last couple of years internally, and the platform has built and built and built and built, and it's going to be very, very, very difficult to come in and say, hey, we're just going to do this unique task. Like Element has a huge advantage of kind of this compounding layers that we built over the last few years, now culminating with this ability to have an orchestration agent platform, which is going to be better and better and better. The more data that you put in there, the more workflows that you run, the more conversations that you run through there. So really, really proud of what we built here. Like I said, we're going to be around. We have an AMA session tomorrow as well, but I'll let the next, the folks for the next presentation come in. And thanks, everybody. This has been great.
Thank you all. Questions?
Thanks, folks. I see your wheels turning. Be back for more. Please enjoy your lunch. We'll return here at 1:15. Thank you so much.